Hey, how's it going? I am gonna try this again. I got almost all the way done. I was on the last card, okay? I'm not happy. I want to go to sleep. I was about to go to sleep. I'm thinking about just trashing this right now because before I started doing this, I heard, put on the brakes, put on the brakes. But I also heard the eights, and I'm like, what? The eights? What? Number eight? The eights. What? The numeral 8? But that was it. I didn't hear anything else. So I went to meditate, and that's been it's kind of hard to get there. For a while I've been talking about this, and I'm not the only one that's been experiencing this sort of difficulty getting the noise in your mind to quiet down enough for you to hear stuff, because I'm not 100% hearing stuff clearly all the time. Like, it's intermittent intermittent clarity. I mean, I have my own personality anyway, and that's sort of I don't know if it's enhanced or exacerbated by the energies, both maybe. But it's just, there's a lot of chattering going on in my head, and it takes a little while. The place has to be right. It has to feel right where I like to do it. It's a whole thing. But I finally got it to happen, and then that was when I started hearing about the eights. It meant eights, words that end in eight, the letters ATE, not the word ate, like I ate some food. No, that's not one of the words it meant, and not the word great, not that one either. It meant something else. Hold on. I think there's more to this that will come later, but I took a little couple of notes and ended up with 2 columns, really. So, initiate, debilitate, celebrate, denigrate, pollinate, humiliate, integrate, fenestrate, integrate, ingrate, roommate, fenestrate, habitate, irritate. I don't know why I got the idea to take the particular word form and put it in 2 separate columns, but I did. And like I said, I hope more comes from it, because I get the blunt object bit, one's more positive, one is not, but that's pretty much everything in the world. So, pulled some cards from the Gemstone Whispers deck, red version. And the first card I pulled was Topaz. And the subtitle is Blindness. And it reads, "There's none so blind as those who will not listen." What I had on my mind, among other things, I had a lot of stuff, because a lot of stuff's been happening. But obviously, the big thing is that there was just an assassination attempt on former President Trump. He's fine. He literally got grazed by a bullet, I guess. And that was alarming, because I saw James Brady, I saw James Brady get shot when they tried to get Reagan. Saw that. Somehow I've managed to be watching the news when some pretty big events have happened. This one, though, I did not catch. Well, that's because I'm not, religiously watching Trump rallies. So I did not have it on, but I did have, I was watching, and so I did see that breaking news right away come in. I got an alert. I was very happy to find that he was not, hurt or worse. He's already making a bunch of us crazy, and then those people are making the rest of us crazy. I just would like us to get along and, like, can we just stop all this nonsense? But I don't know why people have gotten so caught up in it. But earlier I had a thought, like, along the same lines. I'm about sick of hearing people talking about other people voting against their interest. Okay, A, let them. B, how the hell do you know what that is? Maybe they don't care about all of the things that you feel like are going to go to hell because they voted some wrong way. And maybe all they care about is that pisses you off and you can't stop thinking about it, and maybe it gives them a feeling of satisfaction. I don't know, but it seems like it's a two-way dang street. But I don't want to go out there. It's dangerous. There's no lights. There's no crosswalk. It's just random, and nobody is listening to each other, so nobody can see each other's side. And I think people have just given up. But I want to reiterate, there's none so blind as those who will not listen. If they don't listen, they can't see where you're coming from. Literally, right? That's what that means, right? And then the next card was Aztec Gold, and the subtitle is Greed. Okay, this one reads, our eyes are bigger than our stomachs, and that we have more curiosity than understanding. When I just did this already one time, like I said, and when I was reading it before, I was like, that does not make sense. So I made a little change. I took an executive decision, and I changed that out for thens. And so let's try it that way. Our eyes are bigger than our stomachs, and then we have more curiosity than understanding. See, it makes more sense that way, right? We grasp at everything, but catch nothing except wind. I feel like that's, like the cotton candy of information, like you grab it and you want more of it, and it has like no nutrition. It's all clickbait. It's all fake news. It's all like fiberglass insulation. It's not good for much. It like serves a purpose, but at the same time it's, making you sick or whatever, so it's not good. But also it makes me think of, especially the line about your eyes are bigger than our stomachs, and then we have more curiosity than understanding. It's like you're just blindly grabbing whatever and just stuffing it in, and you're not even like seeing, is it food? Or am I allergic to it? Does it have bones in it? It's just like blindly grabbing stuff, and you're so blind you can't even listen and pay attention to what you're consuming. But you just want more and more and more because it's so like empty calories that it's like a worm. It's a greed worm. It's eating up everything you put in so that you just feel empty always. It's the wrong kind of diet. It's not good for you or the people around you. Wealthy people, you're getting your ick all over everybody. The next card I pulled was Amazonite, and the subtitle is Truth. But better to get hurt by the truth than comforted with a lie. That rings true to me, but only to me, I guess, in a certain way. And I love that. Here's some Amazonite right here. It looks like a clean, clear, deep water. Okay, so better to get hurt. I don't know why their sentences are so weird. Like, the person that wrote this is not an English speaker or native. But better to get hurt by the truth than comforted with a lie. What is the but on there for? Better to get hurt by the truth than comforted with a lie. I'm repeating it because 2 times in my life I tried to tell people that they were being cheated on, and I somehow forever after became the enemy. I wasn't even in the relationship. I wasn't the one of the cheaters. I just had someone that I cared about enough to say, hey, this is happening. Are you aware of this? Has anyone told you? I did not expect to get attacked. And I didn't learn the first time. And then I did it again. I learned the second time. Like, ungrateful wretches, fine. I would want to know. Because I've been cheated on several times. And the person I was with didn't, like, come clean. And so many other people that saw it happening and knew that, wait, wasn't that person supposed to be with her? And now they're with this person. It's like, no one says anything. And then you get to feel like an idiot when you find out. And then you feel like more of an idiot because you knew everybody knew and you didn't. And then, like, what are you, my friends? It's like, so I had the reverse of that happen to me. I got to be the one that was like the enemy, which it doesn't make sense to me. But sometimes you're so blind you will not listen and hear the right thing, I guess. You know, you can only do what you can do with, like, the best intentions, and that's what I always ever had. Otherwise, I would not have spoken up and inserted myself, but I also won't be doing that again either. Okay, this card really, like, messed me up last time. I kind of just don't know what to do with it, really, but it's called Charoite. Oh, I guess that's how you pronounce it. I was having problems before. And the subtitle is Destiny. Fate is like a strange, unpopular restaurant filled with odd little waiters who bring you things you never asked for and don't always like. Okay, I guess, cool. How many times have I read that now? About 6. It finally makes sense. Fate is bringing you little treats all the time. And sometimes you don't always like them. That reminds me of the channeling from the Arcturians by Daniel Scranton last evening. Oh shoot, I read 2, so I don't know if it was from last night. Last night or the night before, or it would be yesterday, rather, because yesterday, the one I'm thinking of, the channeling that I'm thinking of, they said, you came here, you wanted to come here as a starseed, light worker, way shower, teacher, healer, and so on in the spiritual community. That those words will make sense if you're not in it, if you're not part of it. And then we forget why we are here and who we are until we begin to remember and figure that out. And then in the meantime, it's like all this confusion and pain and the thing is like, you can talk about the Matrix if you want. I'm just going to go with role playing because evidently we plan out our lives and every event and person we're going to meet, that's all like done in advance. And then as soon as we're born, most of us forget. So the process of remembering and learning how to be that person that you were, remembering who you were, and whatever you knew that was useful to you now, I guess that's the why we're here thing. The purpose of our lives. So they said you did ask to be here. You knew that you were gonna do some suffering and feel a bunch of stuff which your normal non-corporeal self will not experience at all in the same way, and that's why you wanted to come here and incarnate, become a meat being and not a of frequency, so you can like visit like this. There is a cartoon called series called Steven Universe, animated series, not the comic book, because there is a comic book, and there are some characters in them called the Crystal Gems, and one of the gems, they're like superheroes, and one of the gems is called Amethyst, and she's purple, of course, and she's talking one day about she's not a human, but she's taken this form as a human. She's Amethyst, and everything has a vibration. So like if she's this non-corporeal thing, but she's also Amethyst shapeshifter thing, she wanted to experience like walking around like all of the humans that she saw when she was laying on the ground being a rock, I guess. Whatever it is, it's somewhere in the story. There's a lot of subplots in that show, but she's talking about what she likes about having the human form, and she said her favorite thing was eating, and she's like, oh, it's so weird, like you put it in and you chew it up and it turns into something else, and it's like a mush and a gush. I'm probably adding more to it, but it was just the description of this like alien basically describing the process of like human eating and digesting, and it just stuck with me, and it was so funny. But what does that have to do with what I was saying about what we don't always like? All of the other gems were like, okay, we do it because these bodies got to have sustenance, but yuck, gross, why? And the point is that you can come to these junctures in your life where you have to deal with something that's yuck, ew, or you can be like, wow, this is strange. This process is weird, but I'm gonna feel every bit of it, and wow, it's strange, and oh my god, wait, what's happening? I put it in and it's gotta come back out? They don't talk about that, but that's what happens when you eat and digest. So when the character was saying this, I was really understanding. I was really relating. I don't know why. Eating is not strange to me, obviously. I don't know. It was just funny though. It stuck with me. But the Arcturians were saying, like, go ahead and piss and moan for a minute if you want, and then get on with it, because you're not here to piss and moan for long. Like, you're allowed to feel a little something, but again, get on with it, because we all have something that we're here supposed to be doing, and that's where the karma stuff comes in. And then, we do our thing, and then when we're done, we go, and that plays out however it plays out here in human world, with mourning and grief and people missing you, and remembering your name and your legacy and blah blah blah, all that. I think that stuff really only matters here. I don't know, it doesn't matter that much to me. But the point is that you came here, quit your pissing and moaning, like, go cry for a minute and then get on with it. So I think finally I understand what that's about. I'm gonna read it one last time just to clarify. Fate is like a strange, unpopular restaurant filled with odd little waiters who bring you things you never asked for and don't always like. Okay, that's your karma being served up with you. If you don't like it now, don't forget you ordered it, gotta eat it. Okay, so the last card of the gem cards is Hematite, and the subtitle is Devil. Hell is empty and all the devils are here. Well, I mean, we live in that polar world. You're out there trying to do good or just trying to maintain, and there's always some devil temptation out there, waiting to get you. And there's no short, like, you know, like, we don't need, like, to have, like, the theatrical cartoon image or movie image of, you know, whatever we think devils and demons and that look like converging upon us. And we don't really have to be looking for that. Maybe it exists. I don't know. I think that the spirit of the evil works in all of us so easily. And that's really, like, how they gonna do their work down in hell? Like, make a phone call? They gotta show up to work. No remote working for the underworld imps. Maybe I have more to say about that, I don't know, but I'm going to move on to the angel number cards, and that would be these guys, the angel number cards. So I got 222, my favorite, and the subtitle on this one is alignment. And I'm going to go ahead and read the paragraph. How do you move forward toward your life's true calling? Do what makes you happy. Your enthusiasm is what keeps you going. Follow your interest if it's piqued by something. Following these routes will help you discover your life's purpose. Well, I mean, to me, that's just a way of saying, not only take life as it comes, take it in, like, make it as fun as you can. Like, make it your own, you know, even if it's a bad, lousy, sad situation. Remember, there's always gallows humor. You know, there's always a way to repolarize the situation. And as absurd as it seems, if you're shackled in a dungeon about to get tortured to death, it's the best revenge to find something to be happy about in that moment. Again, with you asked for this. I guess complain for a minute, but then get on with it. You asked for this. I'm just going to go on to the next one. I may refer back to this for some keywords. Next card is 1331, good fortune. And I'm going to read the paragraph. Have faith in your skills and talents, as they are a tool that can provide you with a bright future. A piece of good advice, a moment of enlightenment, or a comforting message is on its way. Everything will work out in your favor. I'm going to read the keywords. Advice, comfort, major change, individuality, independence. Well, I mean, I think this calls back again to kind of taking things as they come and not going against the flow, which is always conducive to your good fortune. Comfort. Well, I mean, comfort also, yeah, that's going to help you, like, say you're in a job interview situation, and if you're a nervous wreck and you go in there, at least in my experience, it is not a helpful state to be in. When I've gone in there not really caring, that's when they can't wait to throw the jobs at you. So be comfortable with yourself. Be comfortable in the situations that you're in. Let them adjust to you. Be comfortable. Let them, you know, adjust themselves. Major change. That's going to happen again. Maintain your comfort zone if you can, or at least curate your comfort zone. If the zone becomes uncomfortable, try and maintain that comfort. And again, I don't even want to say try and maintain it. Trying is not as, we may have been taught that that's a good way to go, but I feel like the energy of trying gets in your way. Like, if you're trying too hard or you're obsessing on it, like, that's gonna make your goal farther from you, I feel like. So you want to stay comfortable. Like, it's don't, if you make it a bigger deal than it is, then it's gonna be that, and you don't want that to be your job if you're like comfort centric. Moving on. Individuality. Well, that's kind of a going against the flow thing, but if it can be efficient and you can make it work for you and it doesn't disrupt everything else, then good on you. That's good fortune. Like, you still have that job. They still want you there. Independence. Well, I feel like that goes hand in hand with the individuality, and maybe it's the more reckless side of it even. But, individuality, independence, if they're two shades of the same thing, like, I guess one is balancing out the other. Or, maybe it's like my eights. Individuality and independence, they are similar yet different. Okay, next card was the 0909 card. And the subtitle is New Beginnings. Look out for an opportunity that might be a game changer. You are completing something major. If it feels good to it feels good to level up, huh? It feels good to level up, huh? I don't know what the intonation is supposed to be on that. I have to try, but not right now. Close the old chapter. A new adventure will unravel. Do I want to read the keywords? Not really. But let's say you got that job I was talking about because you went in there not really caring that much about it, not giving it so much weight that it was making you frightful, So, we have those periods in our lives that we don't enjoy, that are not fun. But once you get through something uncomfortable and difficult, especially if you just like kind of work at that, like just getting through it without the bumps and things, pretty much if you just complete that sort of, I don't want to say difficult, but like unpleasant, let's say, period that you were going through, that's, going through the bad to get back to comfort. Like getting from the uncomfortable to get back to the comfort, that is good. You want that. That's you learning new things, integrating them so that you can move on to this new adventure that will inevitably unravel as long as you keep breathing. Like, things just keep happening. The wheel keeps turning. Last card I pulled was 101, starting over. Another beginning card. So I'm thinking of Raising Arizona. In the very beginning, when the prisoners dig themselves free from the hole. Oh, there's a whole fetish. WHOLE fetish thing about quicksand, so falling into, getting sucked into holes and then Raising Arizona is the opposite. Just where they get spit up out of the hole and it's wet and there's a storm happening and it's a whole birth metaphor. Okay, anyway, this is starting over. Yes, starting over indeed, because these are adults being born of the earth. Not babies. Although baby does play a huge role in the movie Raising Arizona. I think it's the Coen brothers. I know John Goodman's in it. I know Frances McDormand's in it. maybe, I can't think right now of who else. Maybe Steve Buscemi. Anyway, the paragraph, getting back to the card, 101. Happiness is linked to self-expression, growth, and experience. Learning from failures is key. Happiness is real, possible, and around. Understand its process and the pursuit of it. Joy is fluid. It's in the little things and the big ones. Fails are fun. Start fresh. Fails can be fun. Maybe not in the moment. Maybe after. So I'm just going to read the keywords on here. Intelligence, dynamics, making a difference, failures, personal or spiritual development. I mean, that's just kind of life in a nutshell, you know, that it's just a constant succession of peaks and plateaus. You get to a place, you have to learn something, you have to struggle for a while, and you get established and you get settled, you get a little comfortable, and then something else comes along to, you know, bump you, you know, like knock you off balance. Good grief. And then it's our job to, you know, find our way back to balance. And how do we get there? Do we spaz out and take a long side route that we maybe don't need to take because we maybe lost control of our emotions, and that can lead to problems, because that tends to be contagious if you can't contain it in a situation where you have to be like interacting with some sort of service person. Really, I mean, let's save everybody the trouble and try and just like get along and make it easy for each other. Like, it's not that hard. It's not, I don't see what the big deal is. If everybody has the potential to be stressed out and irritated, but it can be averted, why not avert that? Like, who wants to be stressed out at work? Who wants to go someplace and deal with somebody stressed out that, you know, that's going to interfere with the smoothness of your transaction, whatever. Hi, Puffer. Whatever it may be. What, honey? Hi, my cat came back. Puffer came back. Puffer came back. Puffer came back, and Puffer came back. Puffer came back. That's right. If I don't sing him that little song, he gets all bent out of shape. Huh, Puffer? You like your song. Puffer came back. He's licking his mouth. Well, as I was saying, that's how life is. It's like you have the peaks and plateaus, and then you have the parts that are a little bit more challenging. But if you can, yes, I'm going to give you some. Yeah, ow, that is my leg with the toenails. Oh, honey, let go. Oh, thank you. You know, eventually you figure it out. You may have to fail a couple of times because you didn't understand what you were doing, or conditions weren't right for whatever reason. But, God, dude, your head, you always try to knock the whole bag out. Eventually, you get it wired. Like, if you were a skateboarder, you will do that ollie 1,000 times until you finally get it, because you want to, you know. It's worth all of the, like, accidentally barking your shins and turning your ankle or rolling your ankle, like, whatever. You know, when you're willing to suffer and go through a little bit of struggle, it makes the difficult parts easier once you get through them, and then you have the reward of, you learned how to do the ollie. Hey, that can lead to other stuff, other tricks, other skills, because you have gotten a new set of muscles to function in a new way, and it can't wait to do more. And I think our minds are that way too. as above, so below. I mean, I guess it applies everywhere. But when you have the new beginnings and you're starting over, it's going to be at the end of that whole cycle, that whole process. And you know, we're all at different consciousness levels, so we're all working at different areas of things, and we're not all gonna be at the same level, and we shouldn't be expected to be. And my best analogy is for that is age. Some people are always gonna be older than other people chronologically. Emotionally, we're not talking about that, but chronologically, change it. I dare you. And if you can do that, you will become the richest soul on the planet. But as of now, that can't be changed. So not everybody's gonna be able to understand fully the other person. They might not even be in a place where they want to, and that's a whole other level of consciousness where you care to hear what people are saying. For a long time, and probably many times, we go through periods where we're so blind we can't hear, or we're so blind that we there's none so blind as those who will not listen. So sometimes we're so blind that we can't even hear. But you know, we grow out of that. Physical growth or emotional growth, both growth. We're doing that all the time. So kind of like started off with this whole like assassination thing on my mind, and then I didn't even really talk about the assassin, and the fact that I talked about it the first time I tried to record this. Let me try it the second time. There seems to be some skepticism about the veracity of the whole attack. Like, I learned from a psychic that I trust, that's proven themselves to me. And that's one of the great things about these ones on this YouTube thing. When they say something, you can then watch and see if it actually happens the way they said it will, or close to, because it's not always like perfectly accurate, but you can like test. And so this one, real quick, just showed that she's very accurate. And so she was sort of giving validity to the idea that there's something fishy about this attempt on Trump's life. I did hear some things that made me kind of go, wait, why? That sounds strange to me, but I couldn't figure out like why. It's still kind of hard to compute how this was an attempt on his life, and apparently he did get nicked, but also that it was a plan. If they could work it out, they could certainly work people's emotions. And I think already he's gotten a big boost because he almost died, of course. And my assumption at first, foolishly, I shouldn't have been assuming, but it was that it was not going to be somebody from the right. The shooter is from on the right, and that is a surprise. And he's no longer with us, so no one can examine him and find out stuff. But there was a lot of talk about how was this rooftop where the shooter was perched not, or like it should have had a Secret Service person up there scoping the way a shooter would, but not to shoot people, but just like there just should have been somebody from law enforcement up there so that a criminal could not be up there. And then it turns out the guy was a registered Republican, so that's all kinds of confusing. But the psychic said that it's going to come out that there was not money exchanged, but something that this person valued that they were willing to give them to act as the shooter person. And it just doesn't make sense. Like, one of his classmates said that he was bullied really badly. Some people react the way that, if that's true, what's alleged is true, people do end up shooting other people because they're mad that they got bullied. That's not unusual in these cases. Like, in America, we've been hearing that since the first one. So, I mean, do you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't, like, so many things would have to be so perfect, because if you saw the way it went down, Trump is talking, sound like shots is going out, he does something like this, and, you know, this is all happening simultaneously, and then, like, the Secret Service are converging around him, and I swear they made, like, a human igloo over him, and then, like, sort of everyone trundled off in that shape, and stuffed him into a vehicle, I guess. But that's what you see. And then after he's pulled, you know, like, there's gunshots going on, and somebody actually got killed. And there was an emergency room doctor who was in the audience, who was able to render aid to that person, but the dead person, he didn't know where they were, and didn't find out about them until after it was all over. So, I mean, it was a very chaotic scene. You could see people running all directions. You could hear people screaming. There was just all this conflicting information. And then it just remains to be seen what's going to come out of it. I think I started to say that there are a lot of things that can be done that we're not aware of as just civilians, but the government and law enforcement agencies have access to all kinds of techniques and technology that they ain't sharing with us about. And just the way they can get in and out of your place with or without you knowing, it can be, like, unsettling. So I guess I'm just saying, there's a lot that's unknown at this point, and there's a lot about that incident that is unknown, but evidently stuff is going to come out to make that clear. So I can't wait for that, I guess. Anyway, life is an adventure, isn't it? I mean, better to take it that way than, oh God, hide under, like, whatever, in the dark, like an ostrich in a box. I mean, might as well just go for it if you gotta be living. Oh, crap. All right. Thank you and good night.